everybody, and welcome to our session today on Facebook Live. Today our topic is Credit 101, What is Credit? We are joined today by Demetrio again, graced our presence. And if you notice, we're kind of in a new setting, which is nice. This is actually our lobby to our office. So right when you come in out of the elevators into our office, this is our little welcoming area. We have our plants. It's nice today. So Demetrio, for the listeners who are just tuning in, why don't you tell them a little bit about what Rent Reporters is?
Sure. So I am a customer service representative here, and just to give you a little summary of what we do, we report people's rental payments to help improve their credit score. If you've lived at one address in the past 2 years, you have the opportunity to report 24 on-time payments onto your credit report. And you have the opportunity to add a 2-year-old Tradeline onto your credit report. So, Rent Reporters, we really help you improve your score. Liz?
That's awesome. So the first question, what is credit? The best thing, what credit is, it's basically the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust of the payment that you'll actually make in the future. So it's your credit worthiness. If you have a high score, it says that you're very credit worthy and that lenders can trust you, that they can let you borrow a certain amount of money and that you're going to pay it back. And if you have a low score, that may tell a creditor, you know what, I can't maybe trust this person. I may have to give them really high interest rates if I even approve them at all. And now we're going to get into the breakdown of a credit score and how your score is even calculated. So the way your credit score is calculated, there's actually 22 factors that get put into your credit score, but they can all be kind of put into the 5 main categories. And those 5 categories are, the first is payment history, and that's huge. That's 35% of your score. And what that means is based on a borrower's payment history, it's basically your on-time payments. How many payments you've made on time. You either make them on time or you don't, and it just lets the lender know how responsible you are with your revolving credit.
Another big factor on your credit score is credit utilization. We recommend to only use 10% of your credit. Don't use more than that because it might get out of hand and you might not be able to pay back what you owe. The max amount we recommend is 30%, but try not to get to that. Keep it at 10% and don't use more credit than you can't pay back. Try your best to keep it at 10%. For example, if you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit, try to keep it at $100. Don't use more than that, and make sure you, again, pay your bills on time. Liz?
The next one would be length of credit history. So this is like your credit birthday. If I decide to open up my first line of credit at the age of 18, that means my credit birthday is at 18. And if I try to open up a credit card at the age of 25, then I'm going to look less credit worthy, or I don't have as much experience. The best way to look at it is like the more experience you have on your resume.
Okay, so another one is a new credit. Try your best to not open too many credit accounts. The less hard pulls, hard inquiries you have on your credit report, the better your score will be. If you have more than 3, you'll likely get hit with some deduction on your credit score. Try to keep it at 1 to 2 per year. Again, too many hard inquiries, too many credit applications will hurt your score. So keep that number as low as possible every year. Liz?
And the last factor is credit mix, and that's 10% of your. So that's 10% of your total calculation, and that's basically the diversity into your credit portfolio. A lot of people have the misconception that if they have just one credit card, why don't they have good credit? And that's because maybe they don't have enough diversity into their credit report. It's not saying that you should go tomorrow and go open up a bunch of credit cards and a bunch of diversity into your credit cards. It's just have a good mixture, but be responsible while doing it. So again, the 5 factors that we can that calculate our score are our payment history, our length of credit history, credit utilization, new credit, and credit mix.
Great.
Yeah, and then we're going to move on to the next thing we want to talk about is how to start a good credit journey. So this is only beginning, so this is really important as far as educating a friend or a family, or if you're a parent, how to educate your children to set them up with the best financial future. And this is how to start a good credit journey. I'm going to go ahead and start with
Sure.
that.
I'll start with that right now. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my notes.
Opening up
Apologies,
the credit
guys.
card early.
Okay, so which one was it again?
Starting young.
Okay, so one of the best ways to start your credit, start building credit if you're younger, if you're just starting off, is to open one credit card and one credit card only. Again, like I said before, try to keep the amount on that card, the balance on the card as low as possible. Do not run up that balance. Make sure you keep it at 10% and pay the bills on time, but make sure that you only have the one card. Don't go ahead and open too many credit cards, because if you do, like I mentioned earlier, too many hard pulls, too many hard inquiries will hurt your credit score. Liz?
And then we'll continue by informing you that maybe the first time, like at the age of 18, the chances of you being able to open up a credit card, they're most likely not very high. So some things that you can do is, I highly recommend, this is really speaking to you parents and you older siblings who really care about helping set up a good financial future for your siblings or your children, is have them open up a bank account very young. So any allowances that they get, make them work for that money, put it into the bank for them. And that way, by the age of 18, maybe if they're banking with Wells Fargo or Bank of America, any bank that they have, they may have the opportunity to open up a credit card with that banker, because they know, hey, since the age of 16, they've been putting money. So you're at least showing a little bit of credit worthiness into it. And also, you can even you can try to get a cosigner. Try to get a cosigner, and so if, like, let's say my mom was opening up a credit card and I was 16, 16 to 18, she can put me as an authorized user, or when I turn 18, I can have her co-sign for me, and that's going to start to build my credit history as well. So those are some ways to begin your credit journey, is really try to start as young as possible. And I think those are some of the common mistakes that we see out there. And yeah, it's basically people not knowing that they can, when to start it, and the common mistakes that they make that don't start them into this credit journey. So starting young is ideal, but it's not the case for most people out there. So the next thing that we're going to teach you guys is how to pull your credit report. And there's actually 2 main sites that we recommend, and there's or you can go to the 3 credit agencies directly, and that's
So yeah, you can go to Experian.com, Equifax.com, or TransUnion.com. Those are the 3 main credit bureaus. They will show you the credit score that you have with that bureau. Again, the 3 websites, just make sure to check them out when you get a chance. Another website you can check out is www.creditkarma.com. That's creditkarma.com. You can see your TransUnion credit score and your Equifax credit score on there.
And the great thing about Credit Karma is that it's free. A lot of the times, you can go to either TransUnion or you can go to any of the Experian, Equifax, and you're going to find that when you go to their website, you're going to have to pay to see that report. But Credit Karma is completely free for a signer. They're going to ask you to go sign in, give you some information, and then put it in. And then the other really big one is annualcreditreport.com. It's not free, annualcreditreport.com, so there's a big misconception which one is the accurate one. It's annualcreditreport.com. If you go there, you can actually pull 1 free credit report every year.
Something I want to stress out about Credit Karma, you can also download the app. And if you download the app, you can set up notifications so you're informed when your credit report has updated. So creditkarma.com, they also have an app. And again, I have the app as well. It updates me once a week when my new credit score is ready. I highly recommend it. That's creditkarma.com. Creditkarma.com. Liz?
That's great. So that's where you can pull some credit reports. That's where you can see your score. And just so that you have an idea of what a good score and a bad score is, they're going to give you a bunch of tips on what your standing is based off your age group, And they're even going to help recommend some good credit cards that you would be eligible for. Here's Lawrence. You want to come say hi?
Lawrence, one of our best reps here.
One of our representatives. He just walked by. He's a little camera shy. We'll get him to come say hi in a bit. So we just told you some good ways to start your credit journey. And that's the first thing, is starting young and making some on-time payments. But for the most part, maybe some of us didn't start off on the best foot. And maybe we need to get some better education. So we're going to help educate you. I actually read an article in Forbes this week, and it was the 3 reasons why responsible people have bad credit. So just because you have bad credit doesn't mean that you're an irresponsible person. It could just mean that you weren't knowledgeable, or you just didn't have the education of what gives you a good score. And one of the first things is that people who only have one credit card, and then they tend to use that one credit card for everything, and they don't understand that, okay, I have a credit card, I've had it since I've been 18, I make on-time payments. Why aren't I able to get, you want to come say hi, Lawrence?
No. Hi, Lawrence. Bye, Lawrence.
Why aren't I able to get a better score? And the problem with having only one credit card is, remember how we talk about 30% of your credit score being utilization? If I only have one credit card at the age of 18, this probably means that I was young when I got this first credit card. They probably didn't trust me, so they gave me a low credit limit, maybe at $300. That means that I can only spend $30 a month to keep my utilization at 10%. So the higher our credit limit is, the better we're going to be able to use our utilization.
Liz, if you don't mind me rudely interrupting you, with Liz's point right there, I also recommend if you're going to be trying to improve your credit score or building credit, it also helps to diversify your credit report. While you can have one credit card, it also helps to have a student loan, a car loan, a home loan. I'm not saying get them all at once, but over time, try to get those on your credit report so you can diversify that credit report and improve your credit score. It's really important to understand that. Liz?
And if you don't have a good credit score from the beginning, just know that it's okay. Credit is one of those things that it's going to take time to build. So you kind of just have to be patient along the journey. You kind of just have to be patient along the journey and wait for the score to improve. And there's a couple ways that you can do it. We have actually one of our Facebook Live that you should look into, and we give a bunch of tips and tricks on how to improve that credit score over time. A lot of people who people don't know what's on their credit report. So when you watched our episode, I can't remember how many weeks ago it was, but there's actually 1 in 4 consumers have a mistake on their credit report. So that's why it's important to constantly check your credit report. So go to Credit Karma, go to free annual credit report, annualcreditreport.com, and you can check that score. What you want to check for, there are 4 common mistakes that you want to look into. You want to make sure that there's no identity errors on your credit report. You want to make sure that all the account details that you have are correct. You want to make sure that there's no fraudulent accounts. Those are the main things that you want to look into, because there are plenty of people who are victims of identity theft, and that can really set you off on the wrong foot, and it's not even your fault. So you can totally prevent that by just checking your credit report on Credit Karma, or you can even check it on free annual credit report once a year, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, and Liz, if you don't mind, going off what you just said, creditkarma.com, and getting the app on your phone, getting that update once a week, you will know what's on that report. You have the opportunity to look at your reports and see what's on there to make sure everything is accurate. That way, if you see something that looks wrong, you can address it right away and avoid issues in the future. Liz?
Another big thing is people don't want to know what their credit score is, or they don't know what their credit score is at all. Knowing your credit score is important. Just because you don't know what it is doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's kind of nice to just close our eyes and pretend something doesn't exist, but it doesn't necessarily work with credit. It's going to always be there. So be aware what's on there. And let's see. Another big thing that can set you off on the wrong foot is sometimes people think, okay, I'm just going to open up a credit card, but maybe I don't have the means to pay it. Like, I know this is a lot of college students' life. You know what? I can't afford my books. I can't afford I don't know, to go out and have food. I'm living on peanut butter jelly sandwiches and a couple of noodles and all these bad foods for you. And so you think, okay, you know what, let me get a credit card and I'm going to help pay things off that way. But it's really important to know that don't open a credit card if you don't have the means to pay it off. Because then you're kind of just setting yourself up to make a late payment. And that's when we can start getting into some big mistakes. And we know that any late payment is going to really hold on to us for about 7 years.
Yeah.
And then finally, so even though we've made these mistakes, someone back there, show yourself.
Way to spice up the video.
We're going to talk about the best ways to get on track and to help build your credit again.
Yeah, so I will start off with the first one. Well, we actually sort of already covered this, but again, if you're going to get a credit card, try, like I already said, I'm just going to reiterate this point. Try not to keep a high balance on those on that card or those cards. Keep it at keep your limit at, or your balance at 10% of that credit limit, and pay the bills on time. Just be very smart with managing your credit cards. I can't stress that enough. You don't want to get too crazy with the credit cards and buy too many things. Just try to keep it as low as possible. Be smart about your credit cards. Manage your credit limit, and stay within your means. Do not get too crazy there. Stay within your budget. That's the best way that I want to say it. Liz?
And a lot of people, sometimes people don't know what their budget is. Go ahead and make a budget for yourself. I highly recommend making a budget of things that you can afford, things that you want. Maybe put aside some money for yourself when you want to go splurge on something. Like you want to take a vacation, you can put it into your budget, making sure that your priorities are first, paying your bills on time, and getting all the necessary items for your life, like paying your rent on time is really important. And the next thing is that if you have numerous open accounts, don't close them, especially your oldest account. Try to keep that oldest account open because it keeps our length of credit open. So it gives you the most experience. So you don't want to close. If I open up a bank account or a credit card at the age of 18, just because I'm not using that credit card anymore doesn't mean that I should just go ahead and close it. Try to keep it open because it's going to lengthen my credit age.
Yes, what was the next one? I apologize.
You can try opening up a secure credit card.
Yes, so you can also try opening up a secure credit card. You know what, Liz, why don't you cover that one?
Okay, you can try opening up a secure credit card. Maybe you're not able to get a credit card initially, so one thing that you can do is you can pay money. Like let's say I want to open up a credit card for $300. I can go to the bank and put $300 and that becomes my credit limit. So it's just a way for the bank to secure that they're going to get that money back. It's no loss to them, and it is going to help build your credit.
Another thing I want to stress here, we already mentioned this by the way, but I just like stressing it because it's very important, and I want to make sure our customers get educated about this. Don't go crazy with the credit cards. Don't open too many accounts. You don't need this many accounts. Get rid of them. I'm going to have to pick those up.
Those are actually all his credit cards.
Yes,
if you look at them, they're all his.
But they're in good standing, so I'm okay.
There's I think I count at least 10 there.
Don't open too many credit cards, and if you do have open accounts, do not close them. Like she just said, leave them active. Use them once in a blue moon. Put a $10 balance on there and pay it off a month later. But the point is to keep your accounts active and to keep improving your age of credit. Liz?
And the last one is sign up with rent reporters. If you're a renter, if you have the opportunity, or if you're a renter, you have the opportunity at your hands to get 2-year history look back added to your report, and you get ongoing reporting with no hard pull to your credit line, which is really important. Do you want to kind of get into this?
Keep this in mind with what I'm going to say here. So when you sign up for rent reporters and you've lived at one address in the past 2 years, you're adding 24 months of on-time 24 months of rental payments, on-time rental payments, improving your payment history. You're adding a 2-year-old trade line, improving your age of credit, and with this, you're going to improve your score. 3 big positives on your credit report without a hard inquiry, without a hard pull. You are improving your score by signing up with our service. And it's also important to continue reporting your rent so you can continue improving your age of history and your payment history. Again, if you have any more questions, any concerns, call us, call me. I'm a representative here. I will answer all your questions And but again, it's just really important to consider what we do for you. And again, we're a team here. We're part of your team. We're going to help you guys. You guys are going to help us. Yeah, Liz.
We're kind of going to get into our question and answer question. We actually have Mark here with us, who can join us.
Guys, what's going on here?
Take a seat.
Thanks.
So we wanted to ask you, what are some of the common questions that come across?
The common questions that come across?
Yeah, like from customers. Like, what are some common questions that we get from customers?
Oh, geez. How much is my score going to change is always a big one.
So that one varies with each individual. If someone signs up, you know, they're going to have different remarks or different marks on their credit report. It varies with each individual. I wouldn't be able to give you an exact score or how many points your score is going to improve. But on average, I mean, we have people's scores improve from 20 points, 30 points, to 200 points. But the point is to sign up. And when you sign up, you can help us by letting us know what's on your credit report. We'll give you recommendations on what we suggest you should do. And again, it just varies with each individual, but it will help you.
Yep, absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know, another big one we see is why can't I just pay for the 2 years? I'd love to get that residential trade line added. Why do I need to keep having my rent reported on a monthly basis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. So if you only want the 2 years reported, that's fine. But I do want, like I just said, if we continue reporting your rental payments, we're going to improve your payment history and your age of credit. We're adding months onto that trade line. I believe ultimately you can have 36 months reported at the most. If it's not 36, it's 48. I forgot which one exactly it was. Do you remember? Do you remember that?
48. Yeah.
48 months reported. So imagine you're our customer for almost 4 years now. You got 48 months reported on your report. I mean, that's only going to help your score improve.
Definitely.
We have a few questions from our audience here. I'm just going to shout out some of them. So the first one that came in earlier during the session, does the type of account or trade line matter?
So it will. That's when we talk about diversity into your credit report. So it's important to have revolving credit and installment credit. You want to try to have both, so that way it shows to lenders that you are able to handle multiple types of credit onto your account. So you can have a credit card, you can have a car loan, and both are going to add a different profile into your credit score. So having both is great.
What if I've been living at my apartment longer than the 2 years? Will that matter?
Yes, that's a really good question. So that's really important. So even though we can only report that 2-year history for you, we can do something even better for you. So we're only going to be able to backtrack 2 years of history, but we're going to change your age of history to your move-in date. So if I moved in 10 years ago to the apartment that I'm living, my age of credit automatically goes back 10 years, just based off the start of my lease date. So even though we can't report all those months for you, we can do something just as important for you, and that's starting your age of credit that early. So that's really important, because I think that's 10% of your credit score right there that you probably could have improved. Do we have another one? Okay, so those are some really good questions, and I think Jennifer, our receptionist, actually had a really good one. Jen, if you want, you can come by and say hi anytime. She had a call earlier that they had asked, they had a roommate and they wanted to sign them up. Do you want to get into that, Dimitro?
If you sign up and you have a roommate or a spouse that also wants to report their rent, let us know and we can provide you a discount code so they can sign up as well and have their own account. I believe the discount code is $10. And yeah, just let us know, call us, email us, or chat us via our website, and we can provide you that discount code. That way your spouse or roommate can sign up and they can have their rent reported as well.
So those are some of the questions, but one thing that we wanted to let you guys know is that we're actually going to change Facebook Live from being every week. So you know that we were off last week, but we're actually going to continue to do this every other week. So if you guys have any idea for content, anything that you want us to talk about, you can even drop that down in the comments below. If you're really interested in one aspect of credit, like let's say you want us to really just focus in on utilization and help you make a budget, if that's something you're interested in, please help us give you the content that you would like. At any time you can drop that in and we'll try to fit that into the schedule to answer any of these questions that we have for you. So you don't have to just do questions. You can make any comments or anything that you basically want to share with us. We're really interested in hearing from you. Share the video.
Share the video.
Yeah. You can go ahead and like this video. You can share it with family and friends. Like, one of the main things that we talked about in this video is the lack of credit education, and sometimes it's just not our fault. Some of this information can be really hard to find. Just out on the internet, you don't know if you're looking into the right resource or if you're gonna get scammed into anything. So try to get the right information. And then, did you have
one more question? Does this increase happen to your Vantage score or FICO score? That's our last question.
Yeah, so our residential trade line definitely impacts the Vantage 3.0 score, 100%, and it's also in the most recent release of FICO, the FICO 9 score. It is alternative trade lines like rent, utilities, are included in the calculation of that FICO 9 score.
That's great.
Awesome. Great.
So, are we almost done?
Yeah, almost done.
Just want to stress, guys, if for our current customers and potential customers, if you have any questions or concerns, if you want to know anything about credit, feel free to call us anytime. We're cross-trained here. We know everything about credit that that would help you. So please, just call, email, ask questions. We'd love to help you guys.
All right, you guys. Thanks. We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Bye. 2 weeks. Bye.